Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jamie Marco,
and Stan Brown,
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are,
one story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it.
Guess who's back?
You?
And?
Me!
Yes. It's actually, we call ourselves us.
So, do you think it's okay if I finish eating my lunch before we get
started? Oh, man, that's rude. You can't do that. People are watching now. They might be hungry. People are starving in South Philadelphia or something. You put that back.
But what if they're not watching? They're just listening.
But when they see what you're eating, it's not very appetizing.
Right. It's cottage cheese and like tangerine. Which part don't you like?
The combination.
Really? Why?
I have no idea.
I think I got that combination from like Aunt Goldie back in the day. Like she would have cottage cheese and peaches or something. I feel like it was someone in your family that taught me this combination.
Oh, it came from my family. It must be terrific.
It must be. Well, it's so interesting. So there is a thing now, I mean, maybe not just say now, but it's been around for a while, that the more protein you eat, the better it is for your body. Like your body needs more protein to burn fuel and to burn fat and to do that. So I'm trying to figure out ways to add protein into my diet, and cottage cheese, which I was never like a big fan of, is high protein.
The highest content protein is in spirulina. The problem is you don't get it pure, you're going to mess yourself up. It's green algae.
Where?
They have
ew. I mean, talking about ew, that's ew.
The green powder you put in your drinks and stuff. The problem is it has to be really pure and done the proper way, or it's more of a problem than a cure.
Do you think of anything now that you're in your 70s? Is there like a special food that you eat, or like are you thinking about protein? Are you thinking about, do you watch what you eat?
There's one staple.
What?
Wow. I've got 3 hanging in the pantry right now.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
That's some good stuff.
Well, because the delis can't do it now. It's a public health hazard. They don't want stuff hanging in the store.
So what do? You go buy a salami from where?
Well, the best one to buy, Publix is like $12 for midget, but BJ's has a massive one, 32 ounces for $12.
And how long do you hang it before you eat it?
It's more of a visual. It's a tactile thing. You can cure it in a couple of weeks.
But you have 3 of them, so
because you have to rotate.
Do you eat it as
when one gets hard, you cut that down. The one gets harder, it's just in a rotation.
But are they all hanging at the same time, or you buy them at different times?
Well, now because we have hang at the same time.
Yeah, but then that's a lot. You're eating that much salami? How did I not know this?
Just a couple of
What do you eat it with?
With the knife and fork.
For real. Listener, you think it's easy. You think it's easy.
Well, don't talk until you try some of my hot salami. You must experience this stuff.
Oh, so today we have a guest of yours.
Oh, she's family. She's family. We met this couple on a recent Viking cruise. Not that we're Vikings, but we took a Viking cruise ship.
I think you were in a previous life, but continue.
And they're delightful. She's one half. We're going to be doing the other half. Totally different story sometime in the very near future. But Nina is a real sweet gal, very nice. Not a nasty bone in her body like me. I've got nasty bones everywhere.
Right. I've heard so much about her. I feel like we have to let her in because I'm very curious.
Let's see. I want to make sure it's really her.
Oh, let's do it.
Think she'll be on mute?
I think that the way I have it set up is that every time someone comes in, they're on mute, and they have to unmute themselves just to see their ability to do that, like a skill.
Oh, it's a test?
It's a test.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate tests like that. And stop saying in your 70s. You give me like a complex. I feel like.
Why am I?
Oh, hello.
You are on mute, Nina. So there we go. Hi.
Hello.
So nice to meet you. We're matching. We're like almost exactly matching. Look at that. We've got black on our necklaces.
Oh my gosh.
I love
earrings?
I love that fake background. Looks like a fabulous country house. Spectacular.
It's my house, you goofball.
I can't believe that you went on vacation with this gentleman.
We didn't even know each other.
And then you wanted to stay in touch. I mean, like, just.
It was that first cocktail I bought her.
You're right. We love your parents. Oh my gosh.
I love myself. I mean, I love you also.
Did he tell you his fictitious job when you met him? Like he's notorious for talking about a fictitious job when he's on a cruise. Did he tell you what his was?
He didn't do that.
Oh. The neuroproctologist?
The neuroproctologist, yes.
We didn't get that. Maybe on the next cruise.
Well, you really weren't not in need of it because what we do, we help people see the light by removing the craniums from their external intestines.
You help get unfunked.
Get unfunked, yes.
Well, you did that without having to tell me what your job was.
Oh, that's so
I'm
nice.
trying. I have a more genteel side to me.
You do.
Any, any, any snow up in your region yet?
We had snow last week.
Ooh, where are you? Where's your
Um,
region?
we live in North Georgia.
Okay.
So just north of Atlanta, an hour in the mountains, where the Appalachian Mountains start.
Oh,
So it's beautiful.
beautiful.
But we had snow on the back porch and flurries. It was probably for like 4 or 5 hours.
If you leave a peanut butter sandwich outside, will a bear come and get it?
Yes, we've had a bear crawl up on our back deck.
Really? Because you
Yeah.
left a peanut butter sandwich or just because?
No, just because when Lex was on the porch, on the screen porch, and he saw the bear crawling up and looked over at the thing, and the bear looked at him, and they looked at each other, and he crawled back down and
Wait, who
left.
crawled? Who crawled? Which one crawled back down?
How big of a bear?
Well, this one was more of a juvenile, but we've had moms and babies in the yard, and we've had them. They came up. One of them, I was downstairs, and they reached over the gate, opened the gate, and came onto the back deck
That
downstairs
was a
when I was
man in a
down
bear
there.
suit. Cut it out.
No, it wasn't. It
How
was
do
the
they know to
truth.
do
I
that?
could not believe it, but then it was so rude, it didn't shut the gate when it left.
Next time they're not invited over for dinner, that's the last time they're invited over for dinner. That is so crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, before we get into more of your story, we asked this question of all of our guests before we get started to know where you're at today. And the question is, what is your number? Not your phone number, but on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being it's the best day that you've ever had, and 1 being a day that you should not have gotten out of bed and should not be peopling. What is your number
I'm
today?
gonna guess. So hold on. I'm gonna give her.
Okay, go ahead.
6.
Oh,
Oh.
I blow that away.
Well, okay, so what would it take for you to go from a 6 to 6.25? Just 0.25 higher.
Just being with you guys.
Ooh.
Oh, well,
I thought she was sweet. I thought
there
she
we
was
go.
nice.
So we'll have to check in at the end to see if you've gone up to 0.25. I love that.
Well, when's the last time you were like an 8.5?
Probably before Lex's surgery.
He's doing well though, isn't he?
He's doing great. He's doing great, but it's just, there's a lot because he can't do a lot. So it's, cook and nurse and everything.
My
But
position is, oh, people downplay the effects this always has on the caretaker. It's very stressful on the
Yeah,
caretaker as
it
well.
is. It is.
it is, but he's a great patient, though. He's an easy patient.
Well, and so we'll get to that because I want to know more about that. But you are right now in the mountains of Georgia.
Yeah.
He just had surgery. Where would he have had the surgery? Because like imagine there's not a big hospital where you're at.
Yeah, there's between Atlanta and where we are, there's a couple towns that have big hospitals in them. So Cumming, Georgia is where he had the surgery in Cumming,
Got it.
which is between where we live and about halfway between here and Atlanta.
So how long of a drive is that for you from the
An
hospital?
hour.
Okay.
And when we'd be there at 5:15 in the morning.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then thinking about like post-op stuff and things and check-in, that's a lot to deal with. How long have you lived in the mountains there?
Well, we built the house 8 years ago, but we moved here full time 2 years ago when I retired. So only really full time, only 2 years. And it's really different, from living in a city like Jacksonville where we lived and then coming up here. It's very different. I love it. We're near our kids and our grandkids, and you know what's like for grandparents with your daughter.
Yeah.
But it's we love that, but it takes some getting used to being, we're an hour from the nearest Target or
Oh my
Panera
gosh,
or
yeah.
yeah, I
Oh
mean there's
wow.
nothing. I mean we have a Huddle House and an Ace Hardware,
Are your kids
basically.
Wait,
close? Wait.
why are the kids up there? The kids work in that area or something? How they get up there?
Well, Alex, they live in Atlanta and they both have jobs in Atlanta. And so they live right outside of Atlanta in Roswell. So they're an hour
Wow.
and 15 minutes from us, which when you're the boys' parents, it's better to be an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, these are rules
Noted.
for retirement.
Noted. Are you originally from Jacksonville?
No, I'm from Pittsburgh. And so
Oh.
I moved to Jacksonville in 76 to attend JU, Jacksonville University. And then I met Lex and we got married 4 months after we met. And
4 months.
so,
That's
yeah, we got engaged a month after, and then we got married 4 months totally since we met. So, and 45 years ago next week.
Happy
Yeah, he
anniversary.
didn't have that glistening silver hair at that time, did he?
Well, actually, his hair was pretty much gray because he had that diving incident, that he told you about in that cave when he was in his late teens,
We're gonna talk about that. Gonna get,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
that's
and
it.
it helped him to get gray earlier.
Were you in school together and that's how you met?
No, we met at my first job. He was actually in my interview, and then he wasn't my boss or anything, but he was in the interview when I got hired. And then we met there, and I was dating somebody else. And then we connected. And then, so a month after we met, we got engaged.
Did this interview involve a
Wow.
couch?
Shut up.
Oh, sorry.
And then when I called my dad to tell him I was engaged, he had just met this guy at my graduation. I'm not going to use his name. And my dad said, "Well, put him on the phone." I said, "Well, it's not him. And he's been divorced." And my dad was Italian Catholic.
Floozy,
Okay.
So you can
floozy.
imagine. He's like, "You're coming home. This is it."
Oh my gosh.
So we flew to
So,
Pittsburgh right away.
wow. Well, what made you go from Pittsburgh to Florida for school? Like, why Jacksonville University? Because
I
that's
wanted to major in marine science, and JU had a really good program for it. I was so interested in marine science. You know, Pittsburgh's really landlocked, and I just love the ocean. I was really into Jacques Cousteau and everything.
Hmm.
So I majored in that for the first year, but then I just realized it wasn't for me, and I changed to sociology and criminal justice. My advisor helped me, and that's where I focused. All my work since then has been on that. But Lex, my husband, is a marine biologist.
oh, that's so funny.
So
So it was like
interesting.
something that, yeah, that is really interesting. So you went from marine
Oh, no,
biology
no,
to sociology and
no, she
criminology.
was interested in marine biologists.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, Stan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny. You talk about that engagement story. I have a really good girlfriend, who she had dated this guy off and on, and they were always breaking up. And then she called me one day, and she had been dating someone else, and she was like, "I'm engaged," and I was like, "To who?" And he was on speaker with her, and he's like, "Thanks, Jamie," and I'm like, "Oh, I mean, like, how am I supposed to know? Like, I couldn't keep up. Like, you guys were like off and on, and then she's got other people. I'm like, how am I supposed to keep up? And it's a story that we joke about to this day that I'm like, who are you engaged to?
Are they still
Yeah.
together?
Yes, they are still married. And we just had them at the house for dinner. They live here. So yeah, they are still together.
Nice.
Not 45 years together, but they are still together. Probably close to, gosh,
45
I'm 11 years.
45 minutes.
They're probably close to like 18, 20 years. Yeah. A lot of my friends, I got married later in life. I met my husband later in life, but like you, on our second, third date, we knew that was it. We just knew.
Mm.
So we met in September. We were engaged in February, married in November, and pregnant in January, and moved to Florida in June. So we
That's
were
a
like, yeah,
remarkable date.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Yes, very similar. And
yeah.
Stan, I listened to your podcast with Ruth for your 54th anniversary, and I had a green Pinto.
Maybe it was him. Did you buy it from
She was
him?
confused. Hers was like that Kelly green. She really confused about the color itself. What green was yours? Was
Oh,
it
mine was more like like not neon, but like that lightish green, lime green. Yeah, mine was lime green.
So funny. Look at all the stuff you guys have in
what a
common.
connection?
So, all right. So you go down, you go for meteorology, and then you're like, no, I'm going to do criminology and sociology. What do you like? What was it about that got you excited? And
Well,
I can't, yeah, go ahead.
I
Women love
think
criminals.
I'm much more relational with people. And so I was what happened was we had to dissect this fetal pig in one of our classes for marine
Oh,
biology. And
yeah.
so you had it in this locker for the whole semester and you just took it
Mm.
out and you dissected it. And it was very like I was doing that and I was thinking, this is not what I want, like to be around a dead pig or something, like I really need to be around people and I want to
Dead people.
understand what yeah, what live people and I want to understand what makes people tick, and I'm really relational. I'm a middle child, middle child
Oh yeah,
Northern is
magic word.
very,
I mean,
you
we're here
know,
so much. We're kid spirits here. Yeah.
yeah, we're peacemakers, we're very much that way. And so I think it's just, we get a lot more out of giving than receiving and stuff like that. And so I think it was just not, not what I wanted to do. And my advisor really helped me kind of talked through what I was really interested in and then helped move me over to the other school. So
That's
it worked
great.
out great.
I love
Yeah.
that. You are the middle children of how many siblings?
4.
Okay.
There's no middle to four.
Yeah, there is. The two of
No,
you.
but my little sister is 11 years younger,
Ah,
the baby.
Are you a
So
twin?
no, I have an older sister, me, and then my brother, and then my little sister was like a caboose Catholic family.
My husband was that way. He was an oops. He was His brother is 9 years older and his sister's 7 years older. And then there it was him. And then his brother had the same thing happen with him. He had a son and a daughter, and then oops. But they're all amazing children. So we're very happy to have them here. So, okay, so that's really cool. Did you have any influence before the marine biology? Did your parents, were they in that field, or that was just something that you had come up with on your own to do?
No, no, no. My dad was a grocery, owned a small grocery store in Pittsburgh that my grandparents started when they came over from Sicily.
Mm.
So it was, they had butchers and he went to the produce yards every day. So very well, it catered to a really wealthy suburb of Pittsburgh where the Heinzes and everybody lived. So he had really good customers. And my mom was a registered nurse.
Okay,
I
got it.
bet you watched Lloyd Bridges on Sea Hunt a lot in those days,
I
huh?
watched Seaham, but I was really into Jacques Cousteau and Rachel Carson. I read all of her books, and I was just fascinated with it. And I also wanted to leave Pittsburgh. I wanted to get away. It was it was necessary for me to kind of get out on my own.
Yeah.
And I always thought I'd go back, but then I met Lex, and you know,
Yeah.
here I am.
You were saying something about marine biology, and then you interrupted me.
I know, broke your train of thought. I
Um,
derailed you.
I don't know what I was gonna say. Okay, what was I gonna
Yeah,
say?
but
Oh,
her career in a whole different direction.
oh, I was gonna ask you, you missed our pre-show. We were talking about my dad hangs salamis in his house until they get hard. I would imagine coming from a grocer that had all the meats that you're tempted to.
Do I sense disgust on your face?
Yeah, they had, we had a big cooler with the sides of beef because we had four butchers in the store and they cut all the meat for everybody. And then my grandpa came from Sicily and he made wine in their basement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we had, it wasn't the best wine, but so
Sure.
I can drink any kind of wine now because I drank that. But cheap wine is my friend. But he, so we grew up in a very, my mother is not Italian, my dad's actually Sicilian. And so it was really interesting
And that's
growing up.
and that's
Are
when
they still
butchers were
around?
butchers.
Are they still around, your parents?
No, they both passed away. But all my three siblings live in Pittsburgh, so I go home a lot
Got it.
just to
But
be
you're
with
the
them.
only one that kind of escaped, came to Florida. So then you switched to sociology and criminology. And is that when you met Lex, or did you meet?
I met him at my first job out of college. So he's 7 years older, and he already worked at this place. It was a school for juvenile delinquent boys. I think you have one in Sarasota, but it was called the Jackson Marine Institute. And so I was hired as the academic teacher. He was the scuba instructor. And so he's 7 years older. And so I met him and had been there a good long time. And so when we met, got married, and then I left after a year because it was just too hard to be married and working together. It was just not what I wanted to do. So I made a change and worked at the Job Corps programs. If you ever heard of Job Corps, so
Yeah.
most of my background's social work,
Okay, got it.
social services, nonprofit. It's all pretty much all nonprofit.
Got it. Well, that's incredible. That goes back to you, that middle child wanting to be giving, wanting to be part of something, making a big difference in the world, all of that there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, she made a huge difference in Jacksonville. Are you kidding?
Yeah, so when you were in Jacksonville, you stayed then in Jacksonville for a while. Like that was
We
just.
stayed, yeah, I stayed there from 76 until 23. So 40 some years I was in Jacksonville.
Oh, wow. So really
Yeah.
embedded in the community. I did a project there a couple years ago for Lutheran Family Services,
Oh
LFS.
yeah,
Yep. So I did a whole project with them, and Christine, I can't think of her last name right now, but I will come back to that. But or maybe I don't know if I should be using people's names on the podcast anyway. But how incredible. And Jacksonville is such an interesting city.
it is.
it, I feel like there are two parts to Jacksonville. There is like a very affluent area, but then also you have a complete opposite. Is that an accurate statement of?
Yeah, I mean they call it kind of the tale of two cities almost.
Okay.
You have Ponte Vedra Beach and everything where there's a lot of affluence and two other parts of Jacksonville, Riverside and San Marco where there's a lot of affluence. And then there's a lot of challenges too, but Jacksonville's a consolidated city. So it's a consolidated government. And so it's the largest city area-wise in the continental US. And so
Really?
the entire city of Jacksonville is consolidated. So there's not county government, there's not, well, it's one county like you are, but there's not little towns where you have individual towns. It's like one government, one city council, one
Hmm.
police force for
Hmm.
the entire area.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
do they
so
do it well?
I think they do it well. I think there are cities that want to do what Jacksonville did. Jacksonville did it in the 60s for all the wrong reasons because they didn't want to have a black mayor. And so they brought the suburbs in to be part of the voting block. But now that they've done it, it really does simplify a lot of things. Because in Florida, your school districts are all county-wide too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So literally everything is in one county. So I think there's some advantages to it for sure. And I think, we've gotten a more progressive mayor now where they're being much more equitable to the parts of the city that haven't been addressed.
Yeah. And was Lex from Jacksonville? Is he from Jacksonville?
No, his dad was a Navy pilot, and so he lived all over the US. And then when his dad retired, they actually lived coast to coast. And then when his dad retired, he retired to Sikeston, Missouri. So Lex went to school 2 years at Southeast Missouri State, and then he went to FIT in Melbourne,
Got it.
Florida.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Missouri is a long way from the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he did cave diving and everything in Missouri. He was a big diver in Missouri, but then he came here and did a lot of surfing and pot smoking and stuff like that. But he did graduate with marine biology. So,
And
and
you just
so,
met him and you knew right away that was like your person.
yeah, I think we both did. It was so immediate. It was crazy actually. And
Where
I'm
was
not
your first date?
I made him dinner. And the thing is, I am not an impulsive person at all. That's why I think my parents were really worried. Like they're probably thinking, is she pregnant or something? Because I am not impulsive at all. And I was dating this other guy at the time.
What'd you tell him?
Oh,
What'd you
poor
tell that guy? What'd you
guy.
tell
I didn't, it wasn't elegant. Let's just say that.
him?
Do you know where he is today? Like, is he like stalk you now? He's like following you wherever you
Yeah, I know. Well, no, he doesn't really like me. And so he's, but the thing was, he's in the Navy. He was ROTC. He's in the Navy. I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a Navy wife. It's just, I
Yeah.
don't want to live all over the United States. And he was actually in Singapore last I checked.
Oh, okay.
He's like a captain or something in the Navy.
Did he ever discover the tracker you have on him?
Did they
No,
ever get
I only
married?
found that out because I did the reunion for JU. And so
Got it.
they gave me the list to call. And of course I didn't call him.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully we'll let him do that. So then you get married pretty early on then. That was probably
I
what,
was
like 21?
21.
Yeah, 21. And he was 28. But you said he had been married before, right?
Yes, for 6 months.
Oh, so that wasn't a red flag for you?
No, because it had been like 4 years before, and he explained the situation of what happened, and I think it made sense that
Excuse me.
he got out of it quickly. Bless you.
Thank you. All right. So then you do this job with a delinquent, then you leave that and you go work at this other place. And then like where do you eventually settle in where you feel you're making the biggest difference?
Well, I think I made the biggest difference. I worked at a school for at-risk girls called the PACE Center for Girls, which you
Oh,
have
yeah. Uh-huh.
in Manatee. You have a
Yeah.
Manatee one. And so it started in Jacksonville,
Oh, I love
and
that.
and it was 19 programs around the state. I was just the director of the Jacksonville program, but I was there when Manatee and Leon started. So I helped get those two started. So I was in Manatee County a lot for that period. So I did that for 12 years, and I think that was probably the most meaningful job I had. Then I left and went into philanthropy, and I worked at the Community Foundation, which you have one, Sarasota County and Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
But I worked there for 24 years. And so that was the end of my career. And I retired from there in 2023.
So I'd love to talk about your involvement at PACE Center for Girls. I think that is such an incredible place and you started it there. Were you part of the team that started the organization or did you come in after it?
I came in after. So I replaced the founder of PACE left to be that state director, and I replaced her. So when I came in, there was just Jacksonville. But she had goals to start the statewide. And so I came in to run Jacksonville when she moved to do state, and then I helped her with the first two programs. And of course I was involved as many of the other ones opened up because I had been there as the longest executive director of a program, but I wasn't responsible for the big huge growth of it or anything.
Having no knowledge of what this is, with these girls you housed, and it's basically like a
No, it's a
dorm.
non-residential program for girls that are at risk. So juvenile delinquent, dependent, ungovernable, truant, and runaway. So
Who would
it's a
enroll them?
school program. They go there instead of going to a public school, and they go there. It's middle school and high school, and it's full time, but they go home at night, so it's non-residential. And the school system usually is the ones that refers them, or the Department of Juvenile Justice. So it's funded by DJJ and by the public schools. Both are the major funders of it, and they're the ones that usually send the referrals, and juvenile judges too.
What a
But
challenge.
some of them must not have a home to go to and may go to a shelter or may go, right? Like
Some
if
of
they're,
them, well, some of them are in foster care, but the vast majority are just in a lot of them in dysfunctional homes, but we did home visits too. So a lot of the job when I was there and still is working with the parents as much as you're working with with the kids to stabilize the families.
yeah,
That's a big part of it.
How large
So,
an enrollment, Nina?
yeah.
hmm?
How large an enrollment?
Well, when I got there, we had 30, and when I left, we had 80, 80 a day. So 40 middle school and 40 high school. And we built a building here in Jacksonville in 2000. And so we rented all this time. We were on the community college campus and we rented a building. And then I wanted to do a capital campaign. So we did that, built the building in 2000, moved in, paid off all the debt. Because if you think about what the economy was like in 2000, really good. And
Mhm.
so people paid their pledges off early. So once the building was paid off, that's when I decided to go. It was 12 years. It was time. You just know when it's time to make a change. So I took a month off, my very first sabbatical ever. And I came back and said, I think I'm ready to do something different. And then people in the community heard about it. The foundation called and said, we're looking for an executive vice president. Our president's been having strokes, blah, blah, blah. Would you interview? They did a national search. I got hired as the executive vice president with a succession plan to succeed him, which happened.
Right.
And he's doing fine now. But it was too much pressure for him. And so I did that and I got hired as the president. And then that was it. So
You were
2000,
president for 24 years?
I was president for 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think she was
So,
doing the right job.
That's amazing, especially just thinking about from 2003 to 2023.
well,
That is
no, let
like,
me think. It was, I got there the week of 9/11. I started. So actually, it wasn't 24, it was 22, 23 years.
wow.
Because I got there the week of 9/11, and then so the market was going great. And as soon as I get there, the market tanked. Lovely. And then I was executive vice president for 2 years, and then he left, he retired, and I became president. So 20 years as president.
That's an incredible responsibility. And I say that for those that don't know what a community foundation does, can you explain a little bit more about what the responsibilities are of a community foundation?
Yeah, I definitely can. Do you want me to do it on the call or now?
Yeah, yeah, do it now. Yeah, like we're live, we're
Oh,
live recording. And we're recording
oh,
now.
oh, okay. Yeah. So, okay. So good. I didn't
Yeah,
even know.
people don't realize
So,
that this is your episode. We're recording now. This is
oh,
all
good.
live. Yeah.
Wait, I have to do my lipstick. No, so community foundations are nonprofit 501(c)(3) foundations. So they're public charities. And instead of people setting up a private foundation, or maybe even in addition to, they set up a fund at the community foundation. Those funds are pooled together and then they're invested together. And then the community foundation assists those donors in making grants, or in cases where the donors passed away, they leave the grant making to the foundation and they'll say, I'm interested in kids, I'm interested in arts, I'm interested in seniors. And then the community foundation develops grant making initiatives around that. And so there are more than 800 community foundations in the US. Jacksonville happens to be the oldest one in the state of Florida. The oldest one in the United States is in Cleveland. It's the whole movement started in Cleveland. Basically, the Rockefellers left Cleveland, went to New York, took their money with them. The business people in Cleveland said, individually, we cannot replace the largesse of the Rockefeller family. Collectively, we can. So they created this,
Mm.
this instrument called the Community Foundation. Because it's a public charity, there are multiple donors. Donors get a larger tax benefit from giving to a community foundation than they do setting up a private
I
foundation.
didn't know that.
Mm.
And so they can advise the funds. So you've heard of donor advised funds, and Schwab and Fidelity and other people have them. But a lot of donors set up a donor advised fund, and then the community foundation can assist them with their giving. So look at it like a charitable checkbook or even a charitable savings account. The community foundation does all the back office, technical assistance,
Wow.
expertise. So in Jacksonville, they make probably now more than $50 million in grants a year.
Wow.
Most of them stay in Northeast Florida. That's the goal. When I was there, about
50
80%.
million a year?
50 million a year, about 80%, 75 to 80% stay in Northeast Florida. Our goal always was, we know donors came from Dayton, they moved from other places, retired in Jacksonville, but we want them to know what's happening in our community. We want them to give in our community and be connected to our community.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's not a big snowbird city like you guys are.
Yeah.
And so this is their primary residence now. And so we wanted to connect people to that community and have them give. Um, so we had a lot of donor advised funds. Not all 50 million of that did staff or the board have discretion over. A lot of it, the donors say, I want to give to my alma mater. I want to give to Central America. I want, but we help them do that wisely. And we also help them stay out of trouble in case they were giving to something that is not charitable. Like maybe they were trying to get their University of Florida football tickets or
Yeah.
pay for private school for their child or something. So we help them to not get into issues. And so it's
Wow.
a really wonderful, powerful vehicle for people, and it has tax benefits as well. But the great thing about community foundations is it has that local knowledge. So it's a place-based foundation.
Yeah.
And so even big foundations like the Ford Foundation sometimes works with community foundations because they don't know communities they're trying to work in. So they may contract with a community foundation to help them make better grants in a
Right.
community because the community foundation's on the ground and they know. And
Mhm.
you have two very successful ones in your area.
Yeah. With
When you
the
came in, what was the amount in the coffers at that time?
the endowment.
What was the endowment?
We had the endowment was about 51 million or 55 million when I came in. And when I left, it was about 670, 680, somewhere
You
around
say that
there.
so casually. That's incredible
That
growth.
is incredible.
Well, but some of it's investment earnings, but a lot of it is just getting to more people to know about what a community foundation is. And since I left 2 years ago, they're doing great. I mean, they're really growing and doing great. The largest community foundation in Florida, I think right now is Tampa. When I left, we were the largest, but Tampa has had some really large gifts from single donors coming in. One of them being Publix, an heir to Publix. And so Tampa has done really well. But Sarasota is quite large as well. They're probably over 600 or 700 million now too.
I think I once heard that Sarasota County has the highest number of not-for-profits in any county in the state of Florida. I think that's what I heard. Like, I don't know if that's actually true or not. I think that's like a random statistics that I heard, but also the highest per capita, what is it? Something like I'm gonna screw up the statistic. I'm gonna stop talking now. But
Yeah,
something
but
okay.
you do well, Naples is extremely high in the per capita income. Jacksonville, interestingly, does not have the highest per capita income, but when they did a study of givers in the state of Florida, and it's dated, it's probably at least 5 or 8 years old, Jacksonville's donors gave more money than other donors. They were more generous. We just didn't have as many or as large, but Jacksonville donors were the most generous in the state of Florida and Duval County.
Interesting.
Yeah, or Northeast Florida. Yeah.
So now you've been retired for 2 years, but it's clear that for a very long part of your life, you were committed to giving back and being a part of a community and, being part of those social services. Now you're in the mountains, kind of away from stuff. How do you still fulfill that part of your life now?
That is such a good question. It's so hard well, I turned 65, retired, and moved in the same week.
It's a lot.
And so
But we do know that you got married and engaged all within like the same time
yeah,
as well too.
so
So
yeah,
you are a little, you know what? I think you are impulsive.
I
Just
think I
kidding.
am too. I think I did. I'm changing my whole life. So I will say that it has been an adjustment. I think the hardest part is finding your people. I've been in Jacksonville forever. We have such good friends, people that are almost like family. They're so close as friends. And so you come here with absolutely no connection. So other than your husband and our son, daughter-in-law, and babies, two babies. And so I'm trying to figure it out. And the first 6 years we were here part-time, I was still working. Lex, my husband, was here more than I was. And so I didn't really have to try to jump in. And now I'm trying to figure out how to jump in. And it's really not easy. It's a huge community that we live in. There's 3,500 homes, 8,500 acres.
Mhm.
There's probably 40 clubs of different things, everything from quilting to repairing the trails that are around here. So I am not sure, where to jump in. Plus the fact that I have not had a lot of time to do things I want to do because I've been working so much. Um, so I'm trying to figure out like what am I interested in, and then who are the people that I can connect with. And so I had this when we last year Wicked came out, the movie Wicked. And I just had this big boohoo moment, feeling sorry for myself. I'm like, I don't have anybody to go to Wicked with because, of course, it's a musical. I mean, no way Lex would go. And so I'm like, I don't have any friends, blah, blah, blah. And literally within an hour, my neighbor texted me and said, do you want to go see Wicked? It was the weirdest thing because I was really having a bad day.
Is she a
And
witch?
no, she's
Just
not.
checking, just checking.
But the universe listens. The universe
Yeah,
listens.
it was amazing. So two other women and I went to see Wicked. We went out to dinner, and so I just texted them this week and said, "Hey, do you want to do it again?" And they're like, "Yes." So now we're, so that's the kind of thing I'm trying to figure out. How do
Wow.
you how do you do that when you starting all over at 65, you know?
It's so funny that you say that because I feel like it's not just a thing when you're 65 and you're tired starting over, but I'm starting to see a lot of that more and more often. I'm on these different mom groups on Facebook and different things, and people are posting about how they moved here from somewhere else, and it's just their kids are having a hard time making friends. They're having a hard time making friends. And I think that it's actually, unfortunately, more common than not because we have forgotten the art of making friends, but also like figuring out who we are and figuring out, what we like and what we don't like. And then the connection thing, people are just texting versus meeting up, and it's just changed
Yeah.
so much of what we're doing. And it's so I think, you're experiencing it at 65, but I feel like you're not alone in that feeling. You were saying you were working so much, right? That's like same. I work so much that when I do have alone time or downtime, I just want to be with my husband and my daughter and
That's right.
this guy and
And
my
so you,
mom. Yeah.
so you don't think about like, do
Yeah.
do I like knitting or do I like
Right.
hiking, or you
Yeah.
don't think about that. And then you meet people and it just doesn't click. And
Right.
so you're like, oh, that's not my people. So
Right.
I don't know. So it's one thing that we've
Sure.
done that I'm so excited about. We just started doing is we started to go to the chapel here.
Mhm.
And so they have a chapel in Big Canoe where we live. And I have really met some incredibly wonderful people. And we were raised Catholic, but when you're raised Catholic, you don't really learn about other religions, and it's different and not bad. It's just different, and so we thought, well, let's try the chapel here. It's a Christian non-denominational, and so we started going, and I just feel like I'm cautious, but I'm getting to meet people and I'm learning some things, and I think it's been good for us. And so I'm hopeful that that's going to be one of those things that we can kind of hold on to and
Yeah.
and get more deeply involved with. The other thing is at this age, you don't want to get too involved. Like, you've been involved your whole life. I don't want to get too busy. I know people that are retired. I've only been retired 2 years, but I know people that are retired that are busier than they were
Mhm.
before. My dad, he was in the grocery business, worked so hard, so many days. So he retired, and I said, "Well, Dad, you're going to volunteer or something?" And he was so funny. And my dad never cussed ever, like never cussed ever. And he looked at me and he goes, "No, Pete Beltry across the street told me if you get to volunteer for something, they're going to work your ass off." So he never volunteered for anything, after he
So
retired.
funny.
And maybe I sometimes think about that when you start to get pulled in,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I really don't want to work my ass off.
Yeah. You want this, you've already done that. You want to just kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah. I think it's also you're probably trying to find what I like to call like the unicorn couple or the unicorn family where you find someone that you enjoy, the wife, and that, Lex likes hanging out with the husband. That's very rare to find a couple that you can both go to dinner with that you're like, oh yeah, but apparently you found it in my parents.
We did, and that's so ter we've said that so many times. You're like, oh my gosh, we've been up here trying 8 years trying to meet, Ruth and Stan, and they're not here.
Well,
It was really weird.
we fooled another couple. Oh, come to mask.
It's hard to find that, right? To
Yes,
where
It is.
both of you like them. Sometimes my husband's always like, you ruined it for me. You didn't like the wife. I'm like, what? Like, she's
that happens.
nice.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens.
It
It's
does, it
hard.
does happen. It does happen. And then politics, now the world's so divisive, and then that always enters into it. And you just have to sit back and let kind of, like you said, you just kind of let it happen, and you can't make it happen. You
Yeah.
just have to let it happen organically, I think.
When your son was growing up, did you have a family that you guys went on vacation with and did stuff like that with, or no?
Our vacations a lot were spent going to Pittsburgh to see my family, or, sometimes going on vacation with family members, but we didn't really vacation with a lot of families. But we did have families that because he was an only child,
Yeah, that's
that
what I had.
he was close to another boy. And so we would do things with their parents, or through baseball or whatever it was,
Yeah.
that we became close because of our children being close.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting. I talk a little bit about social media and how people post their whole life story on there. But you see some families are like going on vacations with other families, they're doing all these things, which leads into the mental health of people. They're like, I don't have that. I don't do that. I don't have that friend to go to Wicked with, and they're going all 12. It's so hard to navigate life that way. But I feel like it's more common to feel that way than have all of the pieces in place. So
Yeah, I think more people are alone than you
yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it does get you sometimes. Like that's what happened. I saw all the Jacksonville girlfriends of mine all going to Wicked, on social media, or Barbie. They all went to the Barbie movie,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't have anybody to do that stuff with.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody well enough to call and say, do you want to do that? And luckily, my friend, my neighbor, she was like, do you want to go? It was just wonderful. And so we become really good friends and things like that. But,
Did
it's
you get
just,
dressed up like at Alphabet and Galinda?
we did not get dressed up.
Will
I'm
you
not,
this time?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, but
Maybe,
you also transition from an urban environment to more of
Yeah.
of a rural environment. That's a big change by itself.
Yeah.
yeah, and everything's slower, which is not a bad thing, and nobody gets dressed up. Like I kept certain clothes for those 2 years thinking, okay, I'm going to need this stuff. I finally just booted it all. It's like you don't dress for anything here. Everything is super
I'm
casual.
not throwing a wrench into the machinery, but do you see yourself staying there long term?
I think we will. We love where we live. We love the mountains. We love everything about where we live. We love the neighborhood. We love being near the babies. I think, God willing, we stay healthy, we will, but the challenge will be for us is if, one of us is not healthy, we're not near facilities.
You
We're
mean
not
like
near
when you get
hospitals.
to my age?
No, well, Lex is your age.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
How old is that? I'm 77. How old is he?
you're
Oh,
not.
he's 74.
You'll
Oh,
be 77
oh,
soon.
soon in December.
I can't believe you're 77 because you do not look 77
You
or
can't
act
believe
it.
it. I can't believe it.
But you've been married 54 years. I
I
mean,
can't believe that. I can't believe nothing about my life.
well,
This is like a dream. Where the
I
hell am
know.
I? Pinch me. Pinch me.
Doesn't
Don't
that
touch me.
happen to you? Like when I watch college football and I realize all those people are younger than me that are on the field. Like, how did that happen? I don't want to
Oh,
be this age in so many ways, but I also don't want to be young again and go through all that again. So it's kind of
yes.
it's
My
hard.
so I went to a baseball game with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law a couple years ago, and they're from England. My husband's English, and so when you talk about going on vacations, that's where we go. I mean, I know that sounds like we go to London, which it's yes, it's very nice, but it's like going to visit family, and we have like the best times, but it's still like that's our vacation, right? And so they could come here. And we went to a baseball game and we're watching the baseball game. And my sister and I were just joking. We're like, well, he's cute. He's cute. And then they put up the stats, how old he is. And they're like 21. I'm like, ew, gross. Ew, ew. I'm like, no, he's not. I'm like, ew, gross. I'm like, he could be my son. She's like, he could be my grandson. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. Like, it's just,
It's
that's when you
really
catch yourself.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Well,
when
see,
you're like when
guys
I
don't
was
do that.
Now we know. We're aware. Have you watched the news?
when you're working and most of the people that work in your office are younger than your child. We were in the break room one day having lunch and somebody talked about Lucille Ball, like another person that's
They
more my
said,
age,
they said
and
who?
everybody's like, "Who's Lucille Ball?"
Oh my gosh,
And
that
so
is
then we started
heartbreaking.
throwing out all these names, and I mean, literally, they knew very few of the names. I mean, it was just so sad.
That
And
is heartbreaking. Although I
it
did
is.
talk about one time the movie Ghost, and someone was like, Casper. I'm like, no, Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze. And they looked at me like I was a foreign object. And I said, you are now fired because the fact that you don't know that movie, you may not speak to me anymore. Like that is
Yeah.
it. But no, it's just fascinating. So I want to dive back into, when you were at the Community Foundation, you had said that when you first started, it was about 55 million endowment, and you made it go all the way, or not you, obviously,
No,
but
she did
it's
it.
a team
A
effort.
team,
Yeah, it's
team, yeah.
always a team. It's always a team, but to $600 million, that's incredible. How does that even like that's a huge accomplishment.
It's called creative accounting.
I
Can I
wish.
give you my books?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing is one of the largest, we had a large donor come in 2012 when the Jacksonville Jaguars sold. So the team owners, one of the co-owners of the team, the wife, Dolores and Wayne Weaver owned it. Dolores Weaver moved money into the Community Foundation in 2012 when they sold the team. Other people saw that happen and said, maybe I'll convert my private foundation into the community foundation. And then the other thing is we started to take more of a leadership role. So we were, like I've always said this, the first 50 years of our existence, we focused on the word foundation in our name. How do we become a foundation? The second 50 years is focusing on community. How do we become a catalyst in the community? How do we do good work? So we launched a public education reform initiative. We launched, initiatives around the arts. We became relevant to people, and people said, "Oh my gosh, if they can do that around these tough issues, then maybe they can do that for me because I'm trying to address
Yeah.
XYZ." So we became much more visible, but you can't become visible until you have the assets to back it up. So it's sort of like a chicken and egg sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that the person before me or the team before me didn't do a good job. They were building, it's hard to build from zero,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so they had created this really strong base and that made people interested in us. And so I was then just able to take it with an amazing team of people to grow it. And now the person that came in after me is the next, perfect leader for the organization, and he'll grow it from that point on. It's always been had kind of, I think, the right leader at the right time.
Yeah.
And in investment earnings, just think about, good markets. Although when I was there, we had COVID, we had 9/11, we had when
Not me.
there was some real down markets when I was
Yeah.
there, but we also grew. And so that helps too. Just investment earnings grow.
It's a shame you didn't sign on a commission only basis.
It
Well,
doesn't work like that.
that's the whole not yeah, and that's the whole nonprofit thing.
The service thing.
No one can profit. So that's why we're called nonprofits. It's not because we don't know how to make a profit. We know how to make a profit, but no individual can profit
I
from
ran a
it.
business for years as a nonprofit. It wasn't intended to be that.
Yeah,
It's funny.
people would call and say that to me. They'd say, "Nina, can I get a grant?" And I'm like, "Well, are you a 501(c)(3)?" And they said, "What's that?" And I said, "Well, it's a nonprofit or, not for profit organization." They said, "Well, I don't make a profit." And I said, "Well, that's not the same thing."
What's the single largest endowment gift you guys got?
At one time, 50 million at once.
50.
Right.
What do you say? You send a thank you note?
No, you build a relationship and then
You build a building. Are you
And
kidding?
you say,
and you
what
keep
friends do you have?
and you keep in touch, and
Yeah.
it was amazing, and it really did change the trajectory because then a lot of other people said, wow, if Dolores Weaver trusts the community foundation, I can trust the community foundation. So it made a huge difference. And that was 2012. And I didn't retire till 2023. And she put in more money after that. So
And
it
it
wasn't,
was nice. She allowed you to publicize her name, of course. It wasn't just a
oh yeah,
number.
she spoke a lot about it. She had been on the
That's
board
fabulous.
um and she talked about why she did it and why it was important to her and she wanted to protect her legacy.
It's amazing. I think when more organizations recognize that there's fundraising, but there's also friend raising, and you have to have both of those. You know this, obviously, but I feel like sometimes they're just so focused on the fundraising, they don't think about how much sometimes the value of building that friendship with your donors just adds so much to the organization. Like I've seen it where I've been asked to donate and give money, and you just don't feel appreciated. You just feel like it's like, hey, here's an invitation, come to our gala, this is that, and then you give, you don't get a thank you, you don't get, it's just it's interesting to watch in real time.
Well, there's this saying in the field of development. If you ask for money, you get advice, and if you ask for advice, you get money.
Ah, I love
To
that.
get to what you're saying, I mean, you have to involve people. They have to be connected because there's so much noise out there. There's so many opportunities to give, and now with all these giving programs online and stuff, there's so much distraction,
Yeah,
and so you have to build those relationships first
yeah,
if you want to get a meaningful gift.
yeah, I love it. So what have you, we'll jump back now into you and what you're doing these days. So you talked about that you could crochet, you could, you're going to the chapel, but what have you realized that you like to do? Like what are some things that now that you have time, what are some things that you realize that you like to do?
I love kayaking and hiking, and we can do both of that here because we live on a lake.
Okay, so
And so we can just take the kayak right out from our yard, which is really nice. And then we have 20 miles of hiking trails here. But the cool thing about Northwest Georgia, where we live, is you're really close to North Carolina and Tennessee, and it's so many hiking opportunities. And Georgia has a really rich state park system too. So we are so near so many things that we haven't experienced yet. So we're doing a lot of exploring now. We know we just discovered travel. I didn't travel like I told you. We went to
yeah.
Pittsburgh, and now we did our first Viking cruise,
Was that
and
your
now we're
first
doing
one when you met
our
them?
first one ever. Yeah,
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah.
Wait,
And
what?
so I didn't get a passport till I was 60.
Oh,
That
wow.
was my first passport. So we are kind of exploring. We're kind of enjoying that, and our grandkids are a huge part of our life. That's taking a good amount of time too. And time we want to spend. They're 4 and 6. So
Oh,
like perfect ages for us. They love us to death. We love them to death.
that's so
Have you
fun.
tried making wine in the basement?
I've not, but you know what my big thing is now? This was my goal when I retired. I never could bake. I can cook anything, but I cannot
The
bake.
same. I can't bake.
I'm a baking failure. And so I have decided I am going to learn how to bake. Now, I don't need to eat it all, I have to give it away, but I'm going to figure out. So this Thanksgiving, I'm trying to conquer pie crust.
And
I
is
have
the
my
whole family coming to the mountain house for Thanksgiving?
No, no. Last year we were all in Pittsburgh, and this year it's just we're going to do our neighbors. We're going to see our kids the next night because it's our big 45th anniversary on the 28th.
Oh,
So I'm going to try to make my grandmother's pie crust recipe. So when I was growing up, she tried to show me how to make it, and she said I didn't have the right hands for it. So it like scarred me for life.
Oh my goodness.
My hands were too warm. So I'm gonna figure it out. I have to figure this out. So I really want to make a pie crust. So I'll let
are
you
you
know how it goes.
practicing or are you just gonna like wake up that day and just do it?
No, I'm practicing to
Okay.
the perfect pie crust.
Put your
I'm
hands in
reading
the
all this stuff about it.
put your hands in the freezer for like for 2 hours or
I don't know. Like I do think I messed some things up before, like I didn't have the butter right. I mean, baking, the thing with baking is it's very exacting.
I know
There's
it's
no
annoying.
ad
I can't
lib.
deal with it. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
have time for that.
Your
well,
oven has to
you
be
do
the right
realize
temperature. You have to have
part of
the
the
egg.
success of baking is finding someone who can appreciate what you're baking. So some of us have that position. So just keep trying. We'll eat it.
Well, and Lex just loves everything I cook. Like I could cook, whatever, and he would still compliment me. So he's not a good judge of my
Mm.
cooking. So I'm
What?
gonna figure it out.
Let's go. So 45 years of marriage. What would you say is the secret to staying married for 45 years? You guys met right away, so it wasn't like it was like courting up front, like you knew right away. what do you think is the secret to the two of you being together for 45 years? And that's really, I mean, like all the like
Because
right,
apparently it's not baking.
right.
No, I would say the willingness to compromise.
Mm.
You know, like you have to meet people where they are. You have to talk things out. My dad said, don't ever go to bed mad at each other. I think there's some truth in that, you know, because you can really, it's not been easy. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's been, you know, a cakewalk all the way, but I do think Lex's dad's advice, my dad was advised was don't go to bed mad at each other. Lex's dad's advice was live 500 miles from the nearest relative. So I do think we were alone in Florida. We didn't have anyone near us. We were more than 500 miles from everybody. So it was just us. You know, we
He an
had to
only
figure
child
it
as
out.
well? Is he an only
He's an
child?
only, I know he has two sisters and a brother, but no one lived near us. My family's all in Pittsburgh. So it was just us. And we were the first ones to have a baby. And so we were just figuring it out. And so I think that we had to just depend on each other and you have to give, you know, you have to talk things through and it's not easy. The grass isn't always greener though, you know, and we didn't talk things out initially. I didn't know if he wanted kids. He didn't know if I wanted kids. You know, we didn't talk about anything in a month. How do you even know?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the heat of passion.
And you're 21, so like you're not thinking that way. You're just thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, like oh, he's
And he
cute.
didn't want kids. He didn't want kids. I
Wow.
found that out,
Change his
you know?
mind, huh?
Yeah, yeah, thank God we had a wonderful child who was really easy, but that's why we only had one because he was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm not taking my chances. So
I love that. Well, I can see why my parents just like rave about you. They were talking about how incredible you are and how much they enjoyed both of you so much. So thank you for taking care of them, because they go on these travels and adventures, and I'm always like, please be safe, please be careful.
Yes, she's such a warrior.
I am.
you know
I
what though,
am.
your mother is the best traveler. She gave me so much good travel advice. Like
Oh,
she really has it down. Honestly,
she
she's very
is, yeah.
organized.
I mean, she has to like wrangle this cat over here all the time for traveling. He doesn't do as well with it, admittedly. Yes.
I admit to nothing. I say nothing. I'm not going on record.
But she's very good. She's got it down to a science, and they do. They have really leaned into their travel in their retirement, which I'm very glad they're able to do that because
It's
they,
great.
yeah, having the time of their life.
And
So
I'm so glad they're going with us on the next
Oh, we'll have
trip.
a great,
So
great time. Great.
it's so great.
Iceland, Norway, a lot of herring, Norway, and Amsterdam.
So
Amsterdam.
so cool. You guys have like the best time. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with us
Didn't
about
I
your
tell,
story.
I tell you, it'd be fun to be painless.
Well, yeah, it was really fun. And anytime I'm with you, it's fun, Stan.
Aw.
Is your husband nearby?
No, he's not.
Okay. I'll be right over. We're gonna have some pie. Come on, pie and coffee.
You do need to make a trip to North Georgia, just not in the winter.
Yeah, the wind, it's kind of chilly.
Were you impacted by the storms last year?
Yeah, we did. We had one really bad snow and ice storm.
But I mean the hurricanes that came through and were,
Oh,
were the North Carolina.
no, it was supposed to come here. It was actually until the day before, it was forecast to go right over us. And then it turned. Like we went to bed thinking what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't even know how that turned like it did, but it was definitely forecasted for here.
And how do you, and this is my last question, sorry. How do you protect yourself and like do you have shutters for your, because you come from Florida where you probably had everything hurricane protection, even though North
No,
Florida, but
we have a
nothing.
we have a house that is surrounded by huge trees. I mean, it's just a nightmare.
Wow, I can't
Yeah,
even.
well, you're one of those long driveways that goes down to the main road.
No,
Long,
we have a short driveway and we're right on the lake. But the lake, we're up above the lake, luckily. So
I look
that's
forward
good.
to the pictures look fabulous.
So pretty. I'm gonna invite myself.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you know what? You look so much like your mother.
Thank
It's
you.
really wonderful.
Thank you. There was a time years and years and years ago. I mean, I was probably a teenager. My dad and I had gone to a restaurant to pick up some food, something. Do you remember this? And someone like tapped me on my shoulder. They're like, "Hi, Ruth." And I turned around, like, "Oh, you're not Ruth." Because her hair was when she wears it, it is really curly, actually. She, straightens
Is
it a lot. I don't
it?
know. I don't know what she does on vacation. Is it curly or straight on
Right.
vacation? Okay. Yeah. So we used to have like the same exact hair and
Yeah,
yeah.
I have really curly hair like yours. That's what mine does too.
Yeah. So it's like it's work to straighten it. But I am 100% a smash up of my parents. Like I definitely am 50-50 of both of you.
And
What?
you're the middle then, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a great place to be the middle. I
It
like it.
is. I agree.
She just finished her first book. We're having a book signing coming up next month. I'll invite you. You don't have to come down, but I'll invite you.
Oh, well, send me the information. What's it going to be titled?
So the book is called Unfunked, and it says, well, you use this word a lot, noise. Quiet the noise, ignite the light. And the concept behind the book is that there is so much noise in the world right now that we all get distracted about finding ourselves and our purpose, and we lose ourselves. We either feel lonely or disconnected, even though we have all of these different devices to connect. And so there are 11 micro moves that help people find way back to each other and find way back to themselves.
Oh, I need this book.
Let's send you
You know,
the
if you choose to come down, you got a place to stay, so there's no hotel costs. You know what I mean?
We're coming down February 17th. Did your wife
Woo!
tell you?
I find out from my travel department.
Well, we're still recording, so don't give any addresses away. But no, I love that, and I will send you. We'll send you a copy. My dad will send you information if you're here. It's in the next couple of weeks. But thank you so much
So
for
nice
taking
to
some time to
meet
talk with
you.
us. You too. I'm excited to meet you in person when you're here in February.
We'll enjoy that. Take care, guys.
Good
Amazing.
to see
Thanks,
you, babe.
Dina.
Find your inner spirit. We're working on excursions this afternoon. Thank you.
Are you really?
Okay, good. Let me know.
Are you
Thanks,
really?
baby. See you
All
later.
right,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Love it. Let's do this. Here we go. How do I do that? Here we go. So fun.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Wow.
They're a great couple. We met with them and we just hung around with them. We went to dinner. Just very easy to get along with. And they're both very bright. His story is even more compelling than hers about his cave diving experience.
Yeah, and that seems like that happened before he met
He
her.
also met he almost worked for Mel Fisher. Mel Fisher was the treasure hunting guy in Miami.
Really? Can't wait to talk to him too. I mean, it's just so cool. Like you're talking to somebody who is so accomplished, has done all this different work, led a foundation that is not an easy job to do because you're dealing with the donors and the community. And then I love that she was just so vulnerable. It was like, I'm 65, I'm here. And I was like, it's hard to make friends. And it's just
Well,
it's
we
so
make
true.
our job becomes who we are.
Right. But we also forgot the art of making friends. Like we forgot how to do that. We get so caught up in things and there are cliques, people stay together and you feel, I can't tell you how many times online I see stories about that. Just last night I saw stories about, and I couldn't sleep at 2 o'clock this morning. I was like, so let's just scroll.
More blue light.
I know I should have read actually, but I didn't want to turn the light on, the little flashlight, because then it wake, anyway.
Well, yeah, and you meet couples who you like the husband, you like the wife to some degree. Why
Yeah.
can't you just like them both? Sometimes the people cannot get out of their own way.
Yeah, but the chemistry isn't always there. You kind of like, I don't know. But I'm glad that you've met them. She sounds absolutely lovely. She's so fun.
They're both terrific.
I love
They're
that.
friends.
Well, thanks, Dad. That was a fun interview.
Well, until next, the two of my guests, not bad, batting 100.
Yeah, do you want pie now?
I always want pie. Pie's always good.
All right, listener.
3.14.
Very funny. I'm gonna go find my dad some pie. Anyway, listener, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed Nina's story, let us know. And if you want to be a guest, let us know as well too. These podcasts are really a time just for my dad and I to talk to people and have fun. But we're glad that you're being engaged in the process as well too.
If you're feeling crusty, call us.
Oh my goodness. All right, bye, listener. Until next time, that's her story.
Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.jaimemarco.com. And we will see you next time.